You ready for this one? Let's do it. There's something happening right now that most people can't see yet. It's a shift so deep that by the time the world notices, you'll already be standing inside a whole different reality. The fact that you're here at this exact moment means you're aligned with that shift. You didn't arrive here by chance. You arrived here because a part of you has been sensing this undercurrent, feeling the tremors before the earthquake, glimpsing the outlines of what's about to break through. Most people remain locked in yesterday's blueprint, running rules that no longer hold. They chase solutions, but that belongs to a fading world. They keep building on ground that's already moving. But you, restlessness, has been stirring in you. You've felt that something elemental is gathering, that the familiar world is reshaping itself into something unrecognizable, and your spirit has been leaning towards it before words could even define it. We're living inside a passage already in motion, a quiet divide forming between those who sense the shift and those who remain untouched by it. See, history shows this pattern again and again. Subtle signs at first, then irreversible change. And we're standing inside that very threshold right now. And only the ones who understand the following principle will survive this change. You ready? There's a truth about life most people never see. They believe strength comes from standing alone, from never needing anyone. But that blueprint is already crumbling. The fact that you're here right now means you've already felt it. The restlessness, the hunger for something deeper than independence. You've been sensing that survival was never meant to be a solo act. Many people believe that they can carry it all on their own. They don't need anybody else. They're independent. Why be codependent? Why rely on others when you can do it all yourself? Just carry it yourself. Don't ask for help. That's weakness. We don't need anybody. See how that could be a bit ego-driven? I'm here to remind you that not only could we use people's help, but we need it. This is the human experience. We have other people with us. I know you know this. You're waking up to this undercurrent, this feeling deep inside that connection isn't weakness, it's power. And you know, a perfect demonstration of the power of connection is coral. Yeah, like the coral reef. It's absolutely amazing. Come along, I'm gonna teach you all about it. You ready? Most people think coral is stone, but it's not. Coral is alive. It's built from thousands of little tiny creatures called polyps. And the secret is, inside every one of these little polyps lives a very close friend, algae. So the polyp gives the algae shelter, and the algae feeds the polyp with sunlight that it turns into energy. This is a mutualistic, symbiotic relationship, which is basically a really good friend, right? It's a partnership where both give and both receive. And that's what coral really is. It's a friendship multiplied thousands and thousands of times until it grows into entire underwater cities. Reefs that are so big and vast they can be seen from space. Before these beautiful coral reefs, there's really only drifting. It's a single coral polyp, which is smaller than a grain of rice, carried by currents it can't control. This little guy floats for weeks, for months, in this vastness of ocean that's so endless, it feels like it might just vanish before it even begins. It's vulnerable, it's alone. But even here, something's waiting. The polyp is not meant to stay alone forever. Companionship is already written into its design. And maybe that's you too. The drifting seasons of life feel like weakness, loneliness, but often they're just moments before friendship, before connection, relationships, before the pieces of your own reef begin to really come together. Finally, after endless drifting, little polyp finds something solid it can cling to, like a rock. It now can relax, it anchors, and almost immediately, a friend joins the story. Microscopic algae move in called zooxanthellae, not as a guest, but actually as a lifelong partner. And by the way, not a romantic relationship, it's just a healthy, supportive, long-term partnership. They settle into each other's rhythm. The algae turns light into energy while the polyps offer the algae protection. They're best friends. They live side by side, creating color, creating reef where there once was never. Look at the ecosystem that this powerful connection builds. Fish and all sorts of life flock to this new, beautiful, vibrant reef that they co-created. It had this cosmic effect, and that's how every reef begins, not in isolation, but in partnership. With its friend by its side, the polyp begins to build, slowly, piece by piece, wall by wall, which, by the way, coral is actually the polyp's skeleton. So little by little, the reef rises higher and higher, grows more and more. Every shimmer of color, every structure that shelters fish, every stone that turtles graze upon and eat algae, all of it comes from these two tiny beings working together. The polyp and the algae, friends creating worlds. And isn't that the same in your life? The things that last aren't built by standing apart, but by joining forces, by friendship, partnerships, and connection. But the ocean isn't always gentle. Sometimes the water temperatures at the reef rise, or the sunlight just shines at the reef a little too bright. And when this happens, the algae inside the polyp get overheated, overexposed, and they create toxins that harm their own home. So the polyps, they do the only thing they can do. They push their closest friend, algae, away. The algae drift into the open water. They're no longer sheltered. They're vulnerable on their own. The polyps, they stay behind. They're pale, they weaken, they lose their color and their energy that this partnership gave. The algae feeds them 90% of the nutrients they need. And sometimes that's how it feels when we lose connection in our own lives. We can keep moving, but the vibrancy of the relationship is gone. The light that once sustained you, it's missing. And even if the friendship survives, it feels less alive. When the algae leave, the polyps, they're left all alone. They cling to the rock, and they're hollow for now. They're colorless, they're starving, and they're barely alive. They're bleached coral now. But here's the paradox. It looks like the end for the polyps, but it's not. The polyp, at their weakest moment, also the most open. Fragility, it feels like failure, yet it's the very doorway through which renewal can arrive. Because even in its pale stillness, the polyp doesn't let go. It doesn't give up. It holds on. It waits for what might return. And that waiting is its strange strength. Sometimes the algae comes back, the same friend returning home. But other times, a new strain of algae comes. Tougher, more resilient, maybe even a better match for this little reflective polyp. But either way, connection returns. And with that, color and fish and life flood back to the reef. It's not just the glow that comes back. Together, polyp and algae, they begin creating again, co-creating. The reef doesn't simply return to what it was. It grows into something more. Every reunion, whether with an old partner or a new one, carries the chance to build differently, to create a new pattern of life. And the polyp never knows which friend will return or when. It waits suspended between death and renewal until, without warning, the glow, the algae, reappears, as if the ocean itself chose this very moment. And I feel like that's true for us as well. We don't necessarily control when connection returns or in what form, It could be an old bond reigniting, continuing what was once started, or sometimes it's something completely new, creating something we never even imagined before. But what matters isn't whether the friend is old or new. What matters is that the connection returns, and with it, the glow you thought that was gone forever returns even brighter, and the power to build again, and build differently. The reef whispers its truth. Strength is not isolation. Strength is relationship. From one tiny polyp and its partner, an entire reef is born. Not alone. Never alone. From the outside, it looks like stone, but the power is not in hardness. It's partnership, a polyp and algae, living as friends, side by side. Being fragile is not a flaw. It's the opening for connection. It's the doorway to a deeper kind of power. So don't be ashamed of needing others. It's not weakness. It's design. It's not just how you survive. It's how you build worlds.